Institute of Economic Affairs says the all-famous election strong room must be abolished due to its negative pejorations. The Election Commission strong room has for many years served as a strategic location for collation of election results. The room has only the EC chair and a few representatives of political parties who peruse results that come in from different constituencies across the country before collating them. Many stories are told about how heated and sometimes chaotic the strong room is, and about how political party representatives had to be vigilant in the strong room in order to jealously protect their election victories. The IEA is convinced the strong room has outlived its usefulness and must be abolished. In place of the strong room, the IEA is calling for the setting up of a more transparent national collation center that will be opened and accessible to as many political party representatives, the media, election observers, and other civil society organizations. And as Yabwa is Deputy Communications Director for the Convention People's Party, let's make a start on this call by the IEA. And so you're welcome to the program.
Well, thank you very much.
And actually, your thoughts on this? Should we replace the strong room perhaps with the National Collation Center?
Well, once again, thank you, and a very good morning to all your listeners. I think any call for more transparency in our electoral system or even political system is a welcome news. And to that extent, we agree with the IEA. We commend them for their recent active responses when it comes to generating new ideas for electoral reforms and even for our political system. One being the fact that they recommended just recently that we do away with the winner-takes-all system, and have advocated for it quite very strongly. We also saw them just last week advocating strongly that negligent electoral officers should be arrested, and now we are hearing this. The idea on this may sound that we take it from the strong room to the open space where there's a huge board where people can congregate and also be witnesses to what is happening. But we would extend it to also mean that the figures doesn't just come directly to the Electoral Commission's strong room or even appear on the board in the open, but would also be made available to internet users, so that at no point in time could a group of vagabonds or hooligans get up to think that destroying the board or breaking it down would necessarily mean that would have lost the data that would be coming to the electoral, the EC's office. Whilst we applaud all these, we would also wish that the IEA would go on to make strong recommendations, such as the repeal of NLC Decree 23, which is a forfeiture of assets decree that ensures that political parties in our country, like the Convention People's Party, whose assets, including the Ministry of Information building, the Fire Service Office, and many other properties, such properties across the country, are returned to the party in the name of democracy and in the name of our multi-party democratic practice. We can't call ourselves a democratic state when we allow in our constitution for one party to be sidelined, for one party to be repressed.
And so I'm going to have you take it again on that. Joining our conversation is Dr. Alidu Seidu. He's a political scientist. Dr. Seidu, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
Dr. Seidu, so there are calls for us to replace the strong room with what the IEA has termed the National Collation Center, so we can accommodate more people as far as transparency is concerned. What's your take on this?
Yeah, first of all, the Electoral Commission is the only institution mandated by the Constitution to conduct elections, collate results, and then declare the winner of the election. So in its attempt to do this, the Constitution says that there should be no interference in the activities of the Electoral Commission in performing their constitutional duties. If you look at the Coalition Center, it is not a mysterious center or a room. It is just a place where results from regional levels are collated. And if you look at the strong room, the EC and all political party representatives are present. And what we have realized from the last election is that elections are won at the polling station. And at the polling station level, we have members of political parties, they are polling agents, we have civil society organization members who monitor the voting processes. And this is an age of technology. After the collation of results at the polling station, at the district level and also at the regional level, we have political party representatives there, and they take note of the number of votes that are counted at the end of the voting, and they keep records of it. So the purpose of the strong room is just to collate the results that are sent from regional level, centers to the Electoral Commission, and there are people in there. So I don't think that abolishing this is going to bring transparency, because people have already, political parties and civil society organizations have already testified and agreed to the results that are sent from the polling station level up to the regional level. And even in cases there are discrepancies between the votes that are tallied at the regional level with what is produced from the strong room, political parties have the right to contest that particular result. I don't think abolishing the strong room and expanding what is called a national coalition center where about 500 people will be there, and then can be broadcast live on TV, is going to help transparency. That is what is going to make the work of the Electoral Commission very difficult. Because if you're going to expand National Coalition Center where you have over 500 people or up to 500 people sitting there with all civil society organizations, and that is not going to provide the Electoral Commission with the needed environment that they need to work.
The proposal feels as though this would indeed cut down on the chaotic states the strong room is thrown into. There will be more people to observe it, and so then you can be sure that it isn't just a few people who are there to witness what it is. There is the media also there to be able to observe how the final counting is done. I mean, in this country, besides what the Supreme Court had said recently, the strong room at the end of the day gave the nod for the presidential election. And so there's a lot of tension in the strong room. With the proposal, a National Coalition Center could diffuse that tension.
Yeah, what I'm saying is that the results are not manufactured at the Coalition Center. That is a perception. The Coalition Center only collates results that come from what? Regional level, constitute a polling station, district regional level. And at the polling station is the place that a lot of things are done, where people vote. And you have CODEO, you have international observers, you have civil society organizations, you have media men observing the voting processes. That one alone is transparency enough. So I believe that what the Coalition Center does at the EC's office is just to collate the results that are transmitted from that level. And this is an age of technology. You can't tell me that a political party don't know the number of people who have voted at a particular polling station and then the results that have been declared.
Very well. Ernesto, this is contrary to what you thought. What will be your reaction to Dr. Seidu's submission?
Well, quickly, the open center has been advocated for by the IEA would only form part of the demystification process, where we do not lead to the thinking that says that there's a certain strong room where figures are manufactured. which he's rightly pointed out. Now, the extension we are seeking in this kind of advocacy is to make the point that what about introducing electronic voting? Look, we've been practicing this so-called democracy since 1992, and everybody knows that we have come of age. There's a technological age. Why can't we adapt systems and methods that other advanced countries, are using? So we can start with an electronic voting system, for instance, which immediately do away with the era of returning officers and people who can massage the figures along the way, even to the point of putting figures that probably may not even be existing. So these are some of the things that we are looking out for. That the Electoral Commission, in going forward, will begin to situate itself in line with the 21st
I
century.
see. And so, many thanks for your time here on News Desk. Dr. Alidu,
Yes,
and so when we look at the strong room, how do we diffuse the tension in the strong room?
Yeah, I think, first of all, political parties need to be very vigilant, especially at the level of polling stations. If you are very vigilant at the level of polling stations and you keep record and of the number of votes that you have won and what the other opponents have won at every respective polling stations where political parties have party agents and where civil society organizations are heavily represented, then you are able to sum up all these particular votes that you have had. And all the political parties have original offices, district offices. And their duty is to make sure that they collect these results and send it to their national headquarters so that they know what they have won at that particular respective level. So if the Electoral Commission comes out with a result that is contrary to what you have, then you can contest it. And demystifying, I know there have been a lot of tension associated to the strong room because people believe that if results are sent from regional level to the national level, people can change or massage that particular figure.
Absolutely.
And that is why we also have political party representation in the strong room. You can easily verify and cross-check with the number of results that is faxed to the strong room with what is coming from the region at your regional headquarters, and you are able to point out the discrepancies. And that happened clearly in 2004 and also in 2012.
Dr. Sejdu,
So, yes.
I'm going to have you hold the line just for a bit. George Lawson is Deputy General Secretary with the National Democratic Congress. He's joined our conversation here on News Desk. George, I'm grateful for your time.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning to you too. What would be the NDC's take on the call for the strong room to be replaced with a national collation center to improve on transparency as far as election results are concerned?
First of all, where is the call coming
from? The IEA.
And secondly, who have you? If you get to the Electoral Commission, have they written strong room on any room there? We have named this strong room. It is nothing. It's a place where you cross-check with the figures that are coming from the region. Political party by political party, you have representatives there, and they're supposed to be 6 or 4 reps. Yes, they ask for 6 reps or 4 reps who will be accredited because everybody cannot go cross-checking results coming from. So I don't know. It's a misplaced call. Maybe they don't know what actually happens at the. There's no strong. Get to the. They will see if you see the
Judge,
the chairman's office chairman.
The points.
Deputies, but there's no room that has been labeled strong room.
The points the IEA is making is that room where a few people go to cross-check the results coming from the other regions so that a final collation is done should be expanded, so that more party representatives can be included, media men can get in there, civil society groups can get in there, and it should be called the National Collation Center. Will that help with anything at all when it comes to elections here in the country?
Then the collation center at the press center, what is that meant for? That's what everybody cannot go there. Just like you are talking of, then we have everybody being polling agents. This one is just, there's not a collation room. It's just cross-checking the figures that come. Everybody cannot do that.
I see.
Everybody cannot do it. Just like, oh, these figures are coming to the Electoral Commission has given us the opportunity to cross-check before. Yes, they will receive it, but they want to cross-check whether you agree to or are the results that you have at your collation center. It is nothing. There's nothing listen about it. So the collation center that we have at the press center, what will be of that one too?
I see, George. Many thanks for your time here once again. George
Thank
Lawson
you
is the
very much.
NDC Deputy General Secretary. Dr. Alidu, so
Yes,
you were telling us if we wanted to diffuse that kind of tension in the strong room of the EC, we would have to do a number of things. Just wrap it up on that so we can wrap up the conversation.
So yeah, I think the first of all, the Electoral Commission has to create awareness. There should be an awareness creation that what is called the strong room is not actually a place where electoral results are manufactured. It is just an office where results from regional centers are collated. And even before these results come to a regional center, they have to be endorsed and signed by party representatives at the polling station level. And even at the strong room, there are party representative agents who will have to cross-check with their national headquarters and see that the figures tally before they sign. So there should be a lot of education so that Ghanaians will know that the strong room is not a mystery room where a lot of things happen. The second has to be the fact that maybe after the education, the Electoral Commission can open up this particular coalition room to maybe the press people, so that during elections we can have a first-hand information of what actually goes in there, so that will go a long way to demystify what actually goes behind that particular room. Because people think a lot of things happen, but if you see what actually goes there reported on national TV, it will change the perception. And going forward, everybody, including civil society organization, media, have to be vigilant about what processes goes on at the polling station. That is where elections are conducted, and that is where elections are won. But if you are not happy at what goes on, you can decide to seek redress in court, competent court of jurisdiction. And we saw that in 2012.
Dr. Alidu, we'll leave it here for now. Thank you very much for your time.